Okay, it took me a little longer than usual. I forgot to make tea, but I remembered that I had a couple of cans of Monster sitting downstairs. So at least I have some caffeine. Let me see what's happened in the chat since I... Okay, let me not see what's happened in the chat. I'm doing alright. It wasn't so much last night, but I am now, at least. And that's a good thing. Saw Call of Cthulhu, and for a moment I was thinking... Saw Call of Cthulhu and saw the words PC killed, and my first thought was that absolute mess of a game. What was it? Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth? I want to say it was Dark Corners of the Earth. Something like that. It's a good game, but my god is it buggy. It is legitimately one of the few games I've seen that is actually buggier than a Bethesda game. Alright. There we go. Now, I've tried something to fix the desktop audio. Hopefully it'll work. Or I say to fix the not so much to fix the audio, to fix the, what's it called? The delay. Hey Creeper over on Twitch, welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream. Let's see. What were we doing last time? I remember doing a lot of wandering. I should probably open this can if I'm gonna drink it. I have the most balanced meal in existence right now. A can of Monster and a donut. In actuality, I'm gonna warm up some actual food after this, but, you know. Alright, so we've done all that. I think I can finally go do Restoring Hope. I should probably take another drink, because that's healthy. Just drink all the time. You should paint the Marines hot pink. No, you should paint them... Nuker, do you know what you should do? You should paint them like Minions. We all know how much you love Minions. But in all seriousness, I tend to be a fan of, like, my personal color scheme tends to be green and black. So that'd be my recommendation. Sort of a dark green rather than a neon green. I don't know. I was just thinking, you know, general color schemes rather than established Marine chapters. Given that, theoretically, you're allowed, or theoretically, the Marines are allowed to have everything but their one pauldron, whatever color they want. That one pauldron just has to stay their chapter colors. Which is odd, given how, you know, most Marines don't ever do any, painting of... Wait, Third Edge is fine? Probably won't say. Eldorado Dry Lake, okay. I should probably remove that marker. Okay, so just keep going across here. Wait, are those ants fighting each other? Why? They're both fire ants. That's odd. We should probably get out of here before they overrun us. I'm still going the right way, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just this place. Huh. Seems like I've gotten a lot more people than usual by actually having a scheduled stream. Oh, dude. Pickle Rick is one of the worst things to come out of Rick and Morty, quite honestly. Like, I really like Rick and Morty, but I'm so sick of all the Pickle Rick stuff and all that. Ooh, that is Hydra. But my hand is full. Ah, shit. I will always take more Hydra. Sure. Hey, Logan. I hear you're having some rough times. I know the chat does not archive. I hope those don't last too long. They always subside, but you can never tell how long. Hey, what? Okay. Oh, I'm poisoned again. Not that it really matters. Which of these several things I've just done has made me a true degenerate? You got it, man. Ah, Day Tripper. Right. Yes. Although it doesn't really mean a lot, given that it's just alcohol, and I have Cass with me. So it's not like... it's not like I actually get any negative effects from anything I do now. Okay. Over here, then.
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
You just said that. It's... right. It's the Major I need to talk to, I think. I was just looking at it a few minutes ago and I've already forgot. Ah, glitchy floor textures. I think the paper is what it's supposed to be. I don't know.
Hey. Back already? What do you need?
Attack on
Are
Nelson.
you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Excellent. Killing the Legion commanders in Nelson will severely cripple the Legion forces and allow us to take back the city. Meet up with Sergeant Cooper just outside Nelson. He will assist you in reclaiming Nelson.
No, Ilgrip, this is not DLC. And yeah,
Hey.
what do you mean you didn't know I was around? I mean, it's been a little while since I've had time to do, like, actual recording, but, yeah. Am I planning on playing the DLC? I'm going to do Honest Hearts. I think I'll do Old World Blues. And I'm debating on Lonesome Road. Ah, Old Man Henderson. That's a fun one. I really wish that Waffle House Millionaire hadn't set the backstory on fire. Oh right, Dead Money is a thing. I'll probably do Dead Money. I know that's the one that you can also accidentally end your game early with.
I've heard of you. Glad to have you on our side.
But yeah, I'm planning on doing like all of I'm gonna do at least most of them. And I'm still debating on whether or not I want to do Lonesome Road. Yeah, Honest Hearts was really short, but I think it was nice and very self-contained. And I don't mind, you know, not having a big effect on the rest of the wasteland.
We don't have many troops, so we can only attack from one direction.
Attack from the ridge.
East it is. Reports also say they might have some NCR hostages. If that's true, we need to do what we can to save them, so stay sharp.
I'm not gonna nuke the Legion.
Leader at Nelson. Intel has the commander as one
Nuking isn't personal enough for what those fuckers deserve.
Pip-Boy. Let's move out.
It's not the only thing I know of someone involved in a terrible gaming story burning all evidence that it ever happened. I have a personal friend who did that too. My friend Sean, after finishing a year-long campaign, we had like one game a month for a straight year. I think we maybe missed one game, and it was absolutely... It was his first time gaming, or it was his first time GMing, I should say. And it wound up being something of a mess. And by the end, he just wanted to stop. Yeah. Thankfully, it wasn't the first campaign that he'd been in. I made that mistake. Like, I'd never actually played in a campaign before. I'd done a couple of one-shots. And then I went and tried to do a Pathfinder campaign, and that was a mess. But, yeah, it was a long campaign, and it was... the group got way too big for a while, and the whole thing was a mess. But it was still, it was a special time for all of us. It was you know, the first serious campaign that we did as a group. And it kind of, it was kind of indicative of a lot of the changes that sort of went through our whole friend group at the time.
We're getting close to
the
Nelson.
end of... What do you mean we're getting close to Nelson Boone? We're in Nelson. Well, we're outside of Nelson, shooting into Nelson. That's not a problem, that's a solution.
Damn right.
Yes, we are just a couple of problem solvers. We've been over this, Boone. Well, I mean, we were over this in a lost save. Anyway. But yeah, that game, it dragged on for way too long. We had a player who decided that he was going to test the GM, because that's always a great idea. And yeah, the whole thing was just a fucking mess. But he had this Canada shirt that he wore for every single game, or for every single session. It was just a shirt with a Canadian flag on it that he always wore to a session when he was running it. And at the end, which I'm very sad that I missed, he took the shirt off and lit it on fire, and then biked home shirtless. And at someday, I'm very tempted to just send him an identical shirt, just as a cruel, cruel joke.
Might as well be shooting blank.
He really wants to forget that mess of a campaign.
Gonna six this bitch.
Cowchop is a name that I've heard a couple of times, but I'm not really familiar with. Hey, Salimi. I love having 2 followers. Hey, Courier. Huh. I don't often get people calling me Dagger. Usually I get people calling me Cloak. Not that I really care one way or another. I am not one of the people who lives by my nickname.
Spotted.
This weapon's on its way.
You're mine.
Oh, wait, did she say that her weapon is breaking?
Not one for being subtle, are you? The Tops probably never saw so much action till you charged in.
You know the strip's all stirred up lately?
Mercy killing's a last resort. Glad you recognized we had options.
Did you know the strip's all stirred up lately?
The Yellow Book? Oh, God.
Can do for everyone else in these territories.
Hold on, I need to enlarge the YouTube chat. Twitch chat is quiet as usual, but I'm starting to lose track. This is new. I'm not exactly used to things being so active. It's a nice change. Let's see. Right, we gotta go into the Nelson Barracks. That's something I want to use my hunting shotgun for, I think. Use that to repair my... Yes, Tolimi, I did do that a little while ago, but I didn't think to make a hard save, and so I started a second game. I kind of forgot that I hadn't made a hard save, started a second game, and then accidentally lost all my old save data, which kind of sucked, but nothing I can do now. Which is also why we had to redo a whole lot of stuff last time. What games do I stream? For the moment, mostly New Vegas. Occasionally I've done XCOM, and once I did Shadowrun Hong Kong, and I may go back to that. Well, I know I'm going to go back to that at some point. I'm just not sure when. And I think I'm out of scotch, so vodka. Yeah. 9 people watching is about 3 or 4 more than usual. And there's a lot more people actually talking than normal as well. Alright. I feel like there's something else I'm supposed to do. I have a quest marker that seems to be pointing me in a certain direction. Yeah, anytime you want to do a horror campaign, you have to do the right system, and you also have to have the right group. Because when it comes to writing or RPGs, if your group doesn't want to be scared, they're not going to be scared. And they're not going to be nervous. And it's just going to go to hell really quickly. I know there was a rather well-known... Well, maybe not well-known. There was a rather, there was a story I found a little while ago that was rather indicative of what happens when you try to do a Lovecraftian horror game without having the right group. Yeah, we had some interesting conversations last time. But yeah, basically, with that campaign, a couple, or like some of the people who went in were, you know, going into it as a Lovecraft campaign, and then the group got much larger between settings without anyone really expecting it. And the newcomers kind of treated the game like it was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer campaign. And Ooh, that did not go well for them.
Maybe I should switch to a squirt.
But yeah, I would generally recommend something like Call of Cthulhu or Trail of Cthulhu if you want a more investigative style thing. Or potentially, Tremulous is also good if you want something more rules light. It's an apocalypse world hack for Lovecraftian horror. And then if you want a modern sort of Secret Agents meets Lovecraft thing, Delta Green is really good. It's sort of like modern military meets Cthulhu, and it still has the same sort of tone, just in a different sort of setting. But yeah, as far as I know, the GM actually did a table flip. In Henderson. It was a very interesting story. I know there's some caves under here. I accidentally found them last time, but I have no idea where they are. I want to say they're maybe down here. That sounds about right. Nice. Now, who exactly is following them out of 1920s Boston? Are they being chased by cultists or angry police? Or both? My bet is on both. I'm probably not gonna find those caves. Well, shit. Yeah, I know a lot of people on Roll20 are actually very... On Roll20 are very, very anti-microphone. Some of them because they don't have one themselves, and they just, you know, they feel like they're at an unfair disadvantage not having one. I know a few who feel that it really breaks immersion with some of the characters to have a microphone going. You know, to each their own. Whoa, what the... I gave Boone plasma grenades, didn't I? Oh. I thought that I was okay. Shit. I should have been taking a look at my health. I should probably go. I should probably just leave. But I feel like I should loot some of this stuff too. Yeah, I'm a fan of microphones. But then again, that's me, and that probably doesn't come as much of a surprise. CL grip. Courier, I've not actually read, much Lovecraft. I keep meaning to get around to it, but, you know, it's one of those things that I never really... It's one of those things that I keep going, oh yeah, I should read that. I mean, it's all public domain at this point, or at least most of it is. So I should really get around to that. And then it's like, yeah, I'll do it later. That's a new one. Yeah, Mega, I have actually, I've done some auditions for a few audiobooks before. Nothing ever really came from that. Honestly, I've got no idea where to start when it comes to voice acting. Yeah, a lot of writers from the teens and 20s and earlier were very, very verbose. Especially ones who wrote serial works. And a lot of works were serialized at the time. It was sort of like early radio or early TV. And one of the big reasons for that was that writers were often paid by the word when their works were being published. So they would use as many as they could. And sometimes it gave rise to some really, really great turns of phrase, like the opening of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol is one of my favorites. Is one of my favorite examples. Where the hell did Cass go? Where it's, you know, not that there is anything particularly dead about Dornell. I should think that a coffin nail would be the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade. And it's just this very long, rambly... It's full of long, rambly asides. And some of them are long and rambly enough that you forget what he's talking about in the first place. What do I think about Mount & Blade Warband? It is a really fun game. I've played a ton of it. Maybe not my favorite game ever, but certainly a favorite. I have no idea where I am at this point. I'm just kind of walking. Are those Legion? Oh, Lake Lurks. I wish they were Legion. Oh yeah, Word for Money generated more garbage than it did good writing. People who knew what they were doing would start writing, you know, ridiculous little asides like Dickens. People who didn't, would just write these awful, long, rambly things that you know. It's one of the worst things. If you've ever had to read a high school English paper with a required word count, you know how bad it can be. The Man Who Invented Christmas. Huh. That sounds vaguely familiar. The title does. I will look into it. It sounds very interesting. Okay, at this point, I'm just completely lost. I think that's the dam. How did I wind up at the Hoover Dam? This is not where I'm supposed to be. With Lovecraft, it wasn't so much drugs. Lovecraft was a massive racist. Like, even for the time that he was writing, he was incredibly racist. And all of his books are basically very thinly veiled attempts at going, this is why the other races are bad, and it's really hard. And like, if you aren't expecting that going in, it can be something of a shock. Yeah, like I said, even for the time, Lovecraft was considered weirdly racist. And, you know, that was the 20s. But he was also a really good writer, so if you can manage to look past that, you know, definitely read his works. If you can't, or if you can keep in mind that's like, okay, if you can keep in mind that it's, if you can keep that stuff in mind, and, like, kind of push it to the side while you're reading, he is a really, really good writer. And it is definitely, you know, it is definitely worth reading his books. It can just be a little hard to get into sometimes. And they're coming after me. And I have no idea where my followers went. Okay. Oh, I'm using the Ithaca. I don't even care at this point. Okay, so it's not Cthulhu itself, but if you read, say, A Shadow over Innsmouth, the whole point of the story is like, or actually, Shadow over Innsmouth isn't the best. Shadow over Innsmouth is a good example of his later works when he started to mellow out. Some of his earlier works, I can't remember what it is. What's it called? The one about the guy who basically finds out that his ancestor, who was some kind of explorer, had slept with a literal gorilla somewhere in Africa, and there was like a civilization of intelligent gorillas, and he slept with one, and that was his family line, and then he pours gasoline over himself and lights himself on fire. That is an actual Lovecraft story. And it's like, it's super overt about what it means. And it's kind of messed up, but at the same time, you know, he was a really good writer, and you just kind of have to put that stuff out of your mind if you want to read anything that he wrote. Or really a lot of stuff from the time, but, you know. Yeah, dreams are weird. You know? Okay, at this point, I'm just gonna fast travel back to Nelson. I normally don't like to fast travel, but I have no idea where I am. I mean, I'm not even... Okay, I mean... Apparently that was actually just a common name for... That was actually a common pet name back then. So that one wasn't even him being racist. That was just a thing that people named their cats. I think that's even... I'm not sure if that makes it better or worse. I started reading The King in Yellow. I keep meaning to get back to reading it. It seemed very, very interesting. And I know it's where Lovecraft got a lot of his ideas. And, you know, the modern sort of Cthulhu mythos pulls a lot from A King in Yellow. Or The King in Yellow, I mean. Oh shit. I didn't even know that was there. Oh, God. That was dumb luck. Yeah, published in 1895. I know that because I was double checking at one point whether or not it was considered public domain, and the general cutoff is, I think, 1926. I want to say. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I want to say 26, and I'm probably wrong. But it's like nothing's entered the public domain for like almost 100 years now, and it's kind of fucked. Thanks, Disney. Oofsky, I don't know. I would consider myself agnostic. Biomystic over on Twitch, I am not sure off the top of my head. Level 20. Nearing level 21. Yeah, some authors have ridiculous sorts of range.
What do you need?
I want to talk about the
The
attack
initial
on
reports
Nelson.
have come back already. Excellent work. This will buy us a lot of breathing room to get back on our feet here. Now we can actually try to strengthen our forces along the river and prepare for the upcoming battle at Hoover Dam. You have my thanks. We owe you a lot.
Alright. No, I didn't actually want to... Alright, see you later.
We won't go quietly. The
You know,
Legion
I'm just
can
gonna
count on
double check before it comes and bites me in the ass. Uh-huh. Keeps resetting itself. Yeah, I mean, I am of the same opinion, Rude Feline. It just doesn't make sense. Like, from a psychological standpoint, it makes some sense in that people tend to, like, try and find what is other to gather around, and, or they like, try and find what they can consider other, so that they can all join in hating that. And it's a really stupid... At this point, Oofsky, I'm reasonably sure that you are a troll and or spammer. So I'm just going to put you in timeout for a little bit. Hey Raymond, welcome to the chat. Yeah, games based on Lovecraft stuff tend to not be very good, Pavel. Biomystic, I have all of the DLC installed. I'm planning on doing most of it, but I'm uncertain at the moment about Lonesome Road. I mean, Courier, racism and xenophobia are basically the same thing. I mean, they're sort of the same but different. Because, you know, one's just, you know... Hey, something is here. Otherwise my follower thing wouldn't have popped up. Alright. I mean, that's Fate that you're talking about. And Fate is just a really weird series in general. I mean, Thomas Edison has a lion head for some reason. Yeah, say what you will about the prequels, but they did have some points about fear but they did have a couple of very good quotes. What was quotable about the Star Wars prequels was very, very... I know I'm near Boulder City. I mean, I've already done Boulder City. Yeah, it really is. And I think a lot of it is very, you know, tied back in everyone wanted to be able to be considered the best, but to consider yourself the best, you had to consider someone else worse. And, you know, globalization and all that is steadily sort of working things like that out. But, you know. Oh yeah, the battle droids were awesome, DCP. One of the things that I wanted more than anything as a kid was a Lego set that was the Confederation of Independent Systems tank, or their like troop transport thing.
A customer. Not many people come into Boulder City these days.
What the hell? You look like Doc Mitchell with a dye job and a bad mustache. Show me what you got for sale. I should probably buy some water. Actually, how much water do I have right now? Picked up a bunch on Legion. Yeah, I should probably buy some water.
Another satisfied customer.
Yep. Pavel, isn't there, like... I remember hearing something about in Russia there being, like, some issue where, like, there was, like... sort of, like, the further Eastern Asiatic groups had some pretty heavy racism towards them. Yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's like every, like, different countries have different sort of different sort of groups they decide that they've got some weird prejudice towards overall. Like, I mean, there's prejudice towards all sorts of groups wherever, but there's, like, certain ones that people outside of a certain region don't even think of. Like, in the modern day US, we don't exactly think of, say, the Irish as being a different group. But in, like, you know, the early 20th century, and also, like, still today in, like, Britain and Australia and a lot of the old Commonwealth countries, there's still a bit of racism towards the Irish. And it's really... it's one of those things that's really baffling. Where it's like, I remember seeing something from, like, maybe, I think it was posted in, like, 2005, of, like, some painting business in Australia that had an Irish need not apply sign. And it's like, what? Yeah, and it's like... and it's like groups that, like, today, a lot of people would go, it's like, oh, well, wouldn't they just be considered part of that group? It's like, no. Like, the barriers keep getting thinner, which is really good. And, like, what people consider to be different races kind of has changed. And that's a really good thing. But it also, you know, trains are fun. They are the best method of public transit. There's a few, like, there's an actual sort of rail system here in, you know, eastern Pennsylvania, and it is the best way to get around if you can, or if you have a station near you. It's, like, It's not as cramped as the bus. It's actually a little faster, and it's just more fun. He was already getting acknowledged rude feline. He hadn't even said ignore it. He hadn't even told me to ignore him yet. I'm not actually sure where I'm going. I should set a quest. That would be a good idea. No. I'd rather wait for the DLC. Yeah, let's go do this. I've thought about eBay. I've also thought about playing online because, you know, there's tabletop sim and there's all kinds of different internet groups or internet systems to play 40K and similar model games. But I don't know. I just haven't really gotten around to it. Yeah, at this point, you really are just here to screw with chat. But you've already shown that you have, what, 3 different accounts? I'd rather not have you spamming up chat. Okay, now New Vegas is being weird. There we go. Dawn of War is okay, but it's not... It's very different from the tabletop game. I've never been very good at real-time strategy games either. Wait, I was doing this thing. This quest. I suppose quests are things. Oh, hey, Legion. I should probably find some cover. They always attack when I'm out in the open like this. This is a semblance of cover. And weapons. This machine was doing pretty well earlier. Oh. Shit. Great. I don't have enough ducker to stop all them gits. There's never enough ducker. Not enough ducker in the world. Nah, my orc voice is terrible. Nice. Yeah, I've heard that, Dawn of War 3 was kind of meh. I have actually Blood Bowl. I have been told that if I want to get into a Warhammer style game but don't have much money, build a Blood Bowl team. So blow your whistle, freight train, carry me far on down the track. Dude, stop making more accounts to get around bans. That's a shitty thing to do for several reasons. I do not have mods in, I do not have mods for the stream. I know he's just trying to get on my nerves at this point. It's very clear. But I am actually trying to pay attention to the chat, so I would rather not have him, you know, continuing to push actual messages off of the small window that I have. Because I am streaming on a single monitor, and I just have my chat tabs kind of scrunched away. It can be a little hard to keep up with at times. Oh, hey, I guess at this point I'm balancing on the rails. I've done that a few times. There's a lot of derelict railways to stations that haven't been used in decades. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I know there's, I have met a lot of people who are of the mentality of, ignore the trolls and they'll go away. And it's like, on the one hand, kind of, but on the other hand, I would just rather, you know, I'd rather have a cleanish chat. Oh, that was the wrong button. Do I have the wrong... No. I was a little worried that I had the wrong stream scene set up. Oh, yeah. Trolls can be interesting at times. When trolls get creative, it's actually kind of fun to go. It's actually kind of fun to just watch where things go. But the vast majority of trolls are just very low effort. And it's a bit disappointing, you know? I remember the days when you actually had to try to piss people off on the internet. I actually don't, because those days were never. What? No. Cass, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? Standing all the way over there. Yeah. That'd be neat. Everyone knows the Blood Axes are the best orc clan. Not really planning on using power armor in this playthrough. I'm gonna try and get some scrap metal together and fix up that ranger armor that's sitting around. Hey, but you gotta remember, the Blood Axes are the ones who've mastered the tactical retreat. Now, you see, it's not running if you can come back later and kill 'em all. I just said it's not running. Yeah, the Blood Axes are the ones who got, the Blood Axes were, I want to say the first ones to encounter humans, and actually picked up some lessons from human tactics instead of just murdering them all. And they're the ones who you'll usually see, say, if a rogue trader has hired an orc, most likely that orc is a Blood Axe, because they're pretty pragmatic as far as orcs go. And they're the ones who actually use camouflage, and they have mastered the art of the tactical retreat. And will be the first to bash your skull in if you ever try and call them cowards for that. Damn it. Damn it, I got a wog going. Well, the first of the orc clans to contact humans, to be more precise. Okay, wait. Okay, this time it's just big corners. The orcs hit exactly what they're aiming at every time they shoot, because they're aiming at everything in your general direction. What class do I choose and why? I kind of switch between rogue and fighter. I'm sort of generic in that. I used to be more of a rogue kind of player, but more recently, I always wind up being sort of the party bodyguard. So I've always been a big fan of, you know, being the heavily armored fighter, or depending on the system, I'll make a cavalier. Exactly. Yeah, I've always been the kind of guy. I've always been the kind of guy who will put on full plate armor as soon as I can afford it, and carry around, say, a great sword or a nice big axe. I don't tend to play paladins, mostly because I'm more familiar with, or a big part of that is because of the, you know, sort of religious religious sort of obligations they tend to have, and how they mix in way too much magic for me. Granted, it's mostly divine magic and blessings and stuff. I like to be a straightforward, knock your skull in with a hammer kinda fighter. Hell, even when I'm going ranged, no matter what, I'll usually pick up a crossbow. Even though, you know, mechanically a regular bow is generally better. See, you like the divine magic thing, and that's, you know, that's your thing. I am just not much of a magic user in any setting. Never been my thing, really. Like I said, a straightforward hammer to the face. Or hell, even usually the closest I come to a magic user is just sort of a pragmatic character who will just use, you know, the most effective thing available at the time. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Oh, I think I've seen that one, Rob.
It can be found at Mick and Ralph's.
Or at least I've seen, like, bits of it. Oh, shit. They do not like me over at the Silver Rush, do they? I guess they found out I took something. Whew. This might not go my way. Yes, I still got that grenade launcher.
Wouldn't say no to a stimulus. Let's paint this place red. Gonna lose a limb if I don't get some meds. Ain't beat yet.
No, Cass, get back. Okay, good. Hey, Rob. They attacked me. I did nothing. We already completed Cass's quest. I was just walking by and got shot up by energy weapons. Not my fault. Hey, only one of those grenades caught her. And that's only because I think I took the one that increases blast radius. Wait, Rob, will that still fuck her up her end? Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I just wanted to get people to stop shooting at me, and otherwise they would... Oh, I can't do a health upgrade. There's no health upgrade. And I'll toss another 5 into repair. Actually, screw it. I'll toss this whole thing into repair. I really want to get jury rigging. Yeah, I don't get a perk this level. Medicine, it makes stim packs heal a little bit more. Ooh, combat armor. I could use that to repair my own. like to use the other combat armor, but okay. Yeah, I'll just maintain it a little. Wonder Glue really does wonders. What kind of thing am I under effect from? Oh, Stimpack sickness. Right. And I think I need another drink. Yeah. I am always critically wounded, Mega. But this is kind of, this is kinda sorta a roleplay run. I am playing a character, although it might not come through exactly. If I were to say, you know, I'm also on hardcore, so healing items don't heal me instantly like they normally would. They heal over time. And also, I'm on very hard difficulty, so things just do a ton of damage sometimes. Let's see. Oh, I should take a drink. And I should probably go up to the Lucky 38 and take a nap. If I had to fight in melee combat, what kind of weapon would I use? First off, I just want to make sure you have the correct definition of bastard sword, since I see so many people get bastard sword wrong. And as a melee weapon nut, that mistake really, like, disproportionately bothers me. Yes, thank you, someone who knows what a bastard sword is. I see some people who think that bastard sword is like some kind of massive, twice the size of a human sword. It's like, no. The fuck kind of definition of a bastard sword do you mean? Now, all in all, swords are really good when you're fighting another human with a melee weapon. And you also have good training. So, possibly, if I'm fighting, you know, another human with a melee weapon. Another really good option is a polearm, because reach weapons are insane. There is a reason that polearms were one of the most common things to arm people with. You know, they're cheap to make, you know, relatively. And, you know, a week or two training, and people will actually, people will actually know how to use it. And not between a great sword and an arming sword, between a long sword and an arming sword. Long sword is another term people tend to get mixed up. A lot of people assume that it means that long sword means just a one-handed sword with a long blade. And no. A longsword is also referred to as a knightly sword. It is strictly two-handed. In historical terms. Great swords were a thing. Great swords are, say, the Zweihander or the Claymore. Those are considered great swords. Or the Kriegsmesser, also called the Langmesser at certain time, or by some people. I really do love the Kriegsmesser. It's one of my favorite weapons.
Casino floor.
But it's really hard to find a good replica or a good reproduction of the Kriegsmesser. There were 3 on the market until recently. One by Albion, who make amazing swords but are like several $1,000s. One by Cold Steel, who suck. That's just about it with Cold Steel. And one by can't remember who it was. But all three were discontinued at the same time. They were German swords.
Hey, have you been able to...
Yes, I just bugged
It
that
looks
out
like we
for you.
started getting reports from... Oh, what the heck? I swear to God that old man...
Yep. But yeah, Mega, they were, German weapons. They were massive, single-bladed swords. It literally means Langmesser or Kriegsmesser literally mean long knife or, war knife. Yes, Robo. I fucking love swords. They're the best thing ever.
Thank you for visiting New Base.
Actually, for all of the other people in the chat who really want to know more about swords, or just want to see lots of swords in action, I highly recommend Skallagrim. He has a really great YouTube channel, just dedicated to all kinds of swords. He had, like, he was doing a thing on... Hey, Mega! Timing on that one. Let's see. What was I gonna do now? Actually, I don't think I had any idea of what to do now. Screw it. Let's do the King's Quest line. But yeah, personally, I have a spear, actually. I keep meaning to actually set the head in place, but I can never get around to it because I'm lazy. I have a Xiphos, which I was a little dumb with, and it's not in great condition right now. I was one of the first, you know, swords I got, and it's kind of covered in rust and very beat up at this point. Wait, I was supposed to talk to the guy at the desk, wasn't I? And let's see, there was something else I was gonna bring up. Oh, and I have a kukri. I almost always have that thing on me at some, like, in some way. I keep it in like a bag that I almost always have with me. It's got like a little sketchbook in it, and my kukri, and my Kindle. So like half of my life is in there. And like a thing of
You mind if I talk to your lady friend a bit instead of you?
I can't just shoot you, you know.
Heard there was some excitement.
Wow, how beat
in
up
one
is
of the
this thing?
casinos on the strip. Bunch of people got hurt when some nuts started attacking people.
What do we have here? Another petitioner for the king?
Yeah, who's the king?
Who's the king? You believe this, asshole man? In Freeside, the kings rule. And the king rules the kings, got it?
Sengoku Jedi. I am not super familiar with that term. See you later, rude feline.
Anything's possible, I suppose.
Let's see. You know, you'd think that the Elvis impression would be the first thing I'd be able to pull out. But no, I'm actually, it's one of the ones that I can't do for the life of me. whiskey.
Look who's back. No. Look who's back. If you want to see the king, you better pay up.
Yeah. Fallout New Vegas actually did a pretty good job with the speech stuff. Oh yeah, it looks like I dropped a few frames there. That'd probably be it. Yeah, fuck it, here's 50 caps.
You know what? I think you and the king head on through.
Look, Rexy, someone new's come to see us. Poor boy. He hasn't been feeling well lately. I'm the king. What can I do for you?
Alright, let's see. Do you always charge people to come talk to you?
Charge? Pays must be at it again. What did he take you for?
50 caps.
That's Pace for you. He means well, but he doesn't like strangers. Here, to make amends. Now, what can I do for you?
Figured you might have some
Maybe
work
so.
for me.
Maybe so. You look like you might be able to handle yourself. Tell you what, you do me a favor, and I'll have some more work for you when it's done. Sound good?
Yeah, what do you need me to do?
I'll start you off with something easy. Did you notice the bodyguards for hire near the gates when you entered Freeside?
Mm-hmm.
It's good money if you can stay alive long enough. Freeside's not as safe as it used to be, so the money is well earned. Usually well earned, that is. Recently, my man tell me that one of those bodyguards, a fella named Oris, is making a little too much money. He's making a killing in repeat business. Once someone hires him, they never want anyone else. I want you to find out why. Specifically, I want you to hire him. Play the part of an innocent tourist and follow his lead. If nothing happens, so be it. But I'm guessing things won't go so smoothly. Call it a hunch. So, what do you say?
Yeah, sure.
Okay then. Once you part ways, return here. I'll look forward to hearing your report. Oh, and take this to cover the hiring cost.
Yeah. I used to have a couple of very close friends who, well, they weren't exactly the nicest people. It took me, but I'd just known them so long that it took me a really long time to realize that.
Come
Yeah.
to Nick and Ralph's for all your shopping needs.
It's one of those things that happens, but it really shouldn't happen. Or that you wouldn't think would happen as often as it does, but, you know, most of the time it's just someone you've known for so long that you don't really know what to do.
If you need to cross Freeside, no one will keep you safer than I will.
That's a good thing. Yeah. Alright, why do I need a bodyguard crossing Freeside?
Just look around. People here are as like to stab you as say hello. That is, if I weren't at your side.
I'm sorry, but you see that I'm wearing combat armor, correct? How much for your services?
200 caps gets you my watchful eye for a trip to the South Gate.
His voice is like half of the characters in Fallout. But yeah, now that you mention it, I do feel like I've heard him in a couple of other places. Wait. No. Is that Yuri Lowenthal? I think it might be. Because I know Yuri Lowenthal did a lot of voices for various anime. I know he did... Of course it's fucking... I think it is. Yuri Lowenthal is the best. He completely makes, like, Frontier Defense in Titanfall 2. Let's see. Yuri Lowenthal bingo sheets sounds like something that I should have at this point. He is one of the voice actors who I just hear everywhere. Another one to look out for, who's in a lot of games, but has such a range. There's another voice actor who has this really wide range, and he's in so much stuff. That it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell when it's actually him. And that would be Stephen Russell. Some people might know him as the original voice of Garrett from the old Thief games. Some people might know him as the voice of Corvo Attano from the second Dishonored game, because he didn't have a voice in the first. And some people might recognize him as Mercer Frey from Skyrim, or as like 6 of the Daedric Princes. Completely different, completely unrelated ones. And also Barbas. Alright, yeah, I'll hire you.
Done and done. I want to mention a few things up front. In order to ensure your safety, I need you to follow my instructions to the letter. We'll be heading down the main street here the whole way down. No detours. You go off sightseeing, and I go off to find another customer. I'll keep a brisk pace, so try not to fall behind. Now let's head out.
Yeah. Like, even, Stephen Russell even in the original Thief, he was the voice of the main character, Garrett. He was also the voice of, like, 3 or 4 different guards. Like, the famous "Going down to the bear pits" speech, or "Going down to the bear pits tomorrow" thing, was him. So, like, in the first level, the first 2 people you hear are both Stephen Russell, and they sound nothing alike.
You haven't seen Freeside till you've been to the Wrangler.
Who, Stephen Russell or Yuri Lowenthal?
Hey, slow down.
Or Liam O'Brien, because we've been talking about, like, 3 different voice actors. And I've lost track. Yeah, Yuri Lowenthal is pretty cool. Like, I mean, like, how can you not love Yuri Lowenthal? He really does have, like... His voice is, like, on the one hand, it's generic enough that you can use it a lot, but it's also distinct enough, and he's just really fun to listen to, that even once you do realize all of the different voices are him,
Nothing to worry about.
that you don't care, because it's Yuri fucking Lowenthal.
You'd be up to your ass in lowlife right about now.
Right, why did you run ahead like that?
Call it a hunch. You do this job for long enough, and you learn to trust your instincts.
Yeah, like...
You're imagining.
Yeah. Medicine 30 or greater. I believe today's physician. Yeah. It's also one of the reasons that Nolan North is in everything.
Well, here we are. No worse for wear, are you? I trust that if you need to cross Freeside again, you'll know who to hire.
I need to go see these images. So... Of course. But yeah, There's a lot of like, I really admire the voice actors who just have like, that kind of range. Rob, I'm not going to double tap them. I've already taken the... I already took the medicine route. Get back here, you asshole. Stop running at the exact same pace as me.
We've got stuff we're not
Well,
even allowed
he
to sell,
was
people.
I've only banned 2 different people, Full Metal Jacket. One of them was the troll who kept spamming my chat, and one was the troll who kept spamming my chat in Russian.
Don't bother.
How did I get through here?
Gotta get back to see. I knew you'd be.
Oh, like, I need your services. Oh, no, I was supposed to go to the king. I am uncertain. It was... I think last night, he was yelling something about, he was yelling something about Ukraine being fascist and stuff like that. And it's like... Wait, I didn't know you're... Huh. I have so much respect for, you know, video game voice actors who get, you know, stretched to the limit. I keep meaning to double check on that voice actor's strike. Because that whole thing was super messed up. I think it came to a close, but I don't want to say anything for certain because I forgot to keep up on it for a little while. Where the hell did the king go? Yeah, there was a voice actor strike. There was a SAG-AFTRA union strike against the, or against a selection of publishers and developers.
Great. Just when you think the NCR can't possibly sink their claws deeper. The town of Primm side.
And I brought this up a little while ago. I'm just going to pause this and see if I can find the article. Because it was really... it was like super screwed up. Yeah, I think... No, this was the original. Normally you do not like to interrupt streams like this, but... Yeah, it looks like it did wrap up a couple of months ago. Here it is. This is the article that introduced me to the strike going on. That depends on your relationship with your parents. If you enjoy spending time with your parents, go spend time with your parents. If you don't enjoy spending time with your parents, stay for the stream. Yeah, here we are. I found the article. Let me find the quote that I was trying to... Because there was a particular quote from this article that it's just really... Or there's a couple of really, like, kind of screwed up quotes from this article. Okay. Let's see. They let off undervaluing what we provided the games industry, said J.B. Blank, a voice actor and observer on the preliminary negotiations. I was at the second negotiation, which occurred Scott Whitland, the lawyer representing the studios, sat down and said, and I will quote him almost verbatim, "It's so great to see so many of you coming here to support your contract. We're very proud to see you all here. Really, no one cares about voiceover in video games, and we could get anyone to do what you do for $50 an hour. So we're showing extraordinary good faith by even turning up." I think he still believes that, and he's patently wrong. Scott Whitland did not respond to request for comment. And then a little further down... Yeah. And this is a quote from Cissy Jones, who was a voice actor in Firewatch. I've been called into video game sessions, and it's 4 straight hours of screaming bloody murder, she notes. By the time I leave, my throat is bleeding, I can't speak, and I have to cancel commercial sessions, which are my bread and butter. And I will post a link to the whole article in the Discord.
Hi.
Yeah, it's weird what'll turn up at certain arcades.
All right. I'll see you later.
And carnivals and things like that. But yeah, it was also, that strike was also the reason that, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But the, yeah, Horus is a fraud, he fakes attacks on his clients and then plays hero.
So that's how it happens. Okay then, I'll have some guys pull him off the street when no one's looking. You've shown me something, so maybe you can help me with a matter that's a little more important. A lot of folks around these parts who've been
Your
here a
cousin
while
was a
resent
lucky
the
son of a
sheer
bitch
number
who
of
got
people that
there
have come
after a
into the
set
area
amount of
since the
people
strip
had
was
lost.
built. In turn,
That's
the
how those
newcomers,
things
most
work.
of whom
There's
come
a
from the
certain amount of
NCR, have gotten
people who are
order from being
guaranteed to
resented.
lose
Sometimes things get violent. This is
before
one of
they'll
those
actually
occasions.
let someone
Recently,
win.
a few friends of mine were attacked, and I want you to find out who did it. Words come that they just woke up over.
Like, I actually learned this recently.
North of here. Head on, see if they remember anything.
Alright, I'll head over right away.
Good. I like that enthusiasm. Return when you have some information we can use.
But yeah, there is actually a whole thing about how, like, they have their voltage set a certain way, the claw grabbers do.
Great.
So that
Just when you think the
after
NCR
a
can't
certain
possibly
amount
sink their
of
claws
time, or after a certain amount of coins have gone in, it'll slowly change the voltage back down to a reason, or back to, I can't remember if it's up or down, and it'll change the voltage to the point where the claw will actually grab something. And until it hits that point, it will not have enough energy to actually get something to the drop. And the way they're set up, it differs depending on the location. So like different, like, business owners can tweak the voltage to certain amounts of people before it'll actually give out a prize. So that no matter what, they can make their money back. Now the fucked up part about this is that theoretically, or not exactly theoretically, but or not theoretically, but potentially what someone could do is set the voltage to a certain level where it will never ever give out a prize.
Hey, what is it? Can't you see I want to be left alone with my
What
friend here?
You do not look like you should be. You do not look like you should have that voice. Yeah, the king asked me to look into the attack.
Oh, that's different then. How can I help? I'll do anything to get the bastards that did this.
That voice does not fit. Alright, what can you tell me about the attack?
Well, it happened at night, around 11. We'd recently made some caps off a bit of scrap we found and wanted to invest it wisely. As we were leaving the Wrangler, we must have taken a wrong turn and ended up in the squatter side of town. From out of nowhere, these big guys show up and start barking questions at us, wanted to know if we were locals. The kid there's about as proud as a local around here gets, and started yelling back at him. Then all hell broke loose. Kid got the worst of it, sad to say.
Alright, you know anything about the people who
They were
attacked you?
big guys, young too. No old geezers like me. Hell, none of them looked even half my age. I was mostly face down in the dirt, begging for my life when it happened, so I only got a quick look at them.
See, now I'm curious what the certain show is, and also, I'm definitely interested in seeing what you're making once you put it out.
I hope you find the bastards that did this. If you want, try asking my friend Wayne over there about him. He saw more than I did.
Alright.
Wayne, it's okay. The king sent him.
Dude, even if you don't think we'd be interested, you can't just bring something like this up and then not tell us.
That true? Did the king really send you?
Alright, yeah, he did. Anything you could tell me about what happened?
I don't really know what else I can add. They were a bunch of guys, better dressed than most Freesiders, I guess. That help?
Every bit helps.
Sorry I couldn't help more, especially since you're being so nice. Hey, wait, I just remembered something. I might have heard one of the guys that attacked us call another by name. We had just about had it when one of them said, "Hey Lou, we gotta go." At least I think he said Lou. It might have been something else. Now that I think of it, he said Lou something. Something with a T. Tenant, that's what he called him. Lieutenant.
He probably said Lieutenant, Wayne. The boy means well, but he's dumb as a mutant sometimes.
Okay. All of these guys are shiny because I have night vision on, and it makes everyone shiny so that I can pick out targets better. This is what it looks like when I don't have night vision on. It's actually a little brighter than it usually is. Rob, for once, it's not New Vegas being glitchy. It's part of a mod. Nope. Whenever I turn my night vision on, it highlights any living beings for me, which is rather useful. And I think it activates spotter even when I'm, like, Boone's spotter perk, even when I'm not aiming down sights, which is nice. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just going to assume that you're the same guy who was spamming chat earlier, given that you brought him up a few minutes ago. So, I'm just going to have to say goodbye. And Rob, you are always here and generally the first person in chat. So I'm going to give you some moderator privileges just because I cannot keep tapping out every time something happens. That is going to crash New Vegas at some point.
Have you found anything out? Or were you just here to chat?
Use your new privilege as well, my friend. Right, local men were attacked by soldiers. One of the men was identified by rank.
Bunch of soldier boys, huh? They usually don't come around these parts since their big base is on the other side of the strip. If they're coming over here now, it's gotta be for a reason.
Huh.
I didn't want to believe the rumors that they're looking to take over Vegas, but now, if something big is going down, I'm sure rumors of it will have spread. Ask around, particularly in the squatter areas where the NCR folk hang. You might also mosey on over to the Mormon fort and chat Julie Farkas up. The followers tend to be in the know about these things. Just don't ask her what to do about it. She'll probably ask you to hug someone or something.
I mean, I cannot keep tabbing out, and at some point, I'm half tempted to stream something like Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth. And if I try to play that on stream, I'm not going to be able to tab out for anything. So I'm really going to need someone to help me out with that, with, you know, chat and things like that, in case he keeps coming back. Talking Technicolor donkeys. Oh. Meh.
Things are tense on the strip right now.
Personally not my thing, but, you know, whatever.
Time to lay low, you ask me.
Make a brief stop at the Atomic Wrangler, where the booze is cheaper, the table's more friendly, and the women are just like the booze.
Pavel, I will consider it.
If it can be bought, it can be found at Mick and Ralph's. We've got stuff we're not even allowed to sell.
Yep. It still bothers me every time I pass that kid. Stuff you're... Advertising that you have stuff that you're not allowed to sell is not a good sales pitch. I know that there's,
You look like a person in need of a good meal.
I'm not sure what his name
You
is.
happen to be an NCR citizen, would you?
I am.
Now, it's not that I don't believe you, but I'm gonna have to give you a little
Lay it on me.
That's a good attitude. All right, here we go. First question. Who was the most popular president in NCR history? Peterson, Tibbet, Kimball, or Tandy?
Most popular. That... Most popular is a rough thing. Yeah. Whatever it is, it cannot be as god-awful as Yahtzee in Equestria. Because that's an actual thing.
Uh-huh. Okay, second question. What was the original name of the NCR capital? Aradesh, Shady Sands, the Boneyard, or Vault 13?
The capital... It's not Vault 13, is it? Yeah, I do in fact mean zero punctuation Yahtzee. I know about this because I used to be a really big fan of, Let's Drown Out while it was still going, with Yahtzee Croshaw and Gabriel Morton. And when, about halfway through their Dark Souls 2 playthrough, they started reading the Eye of Argon every time one of them died. But once they finished the Eye of Argon, Gabe decided, hey, you know what we need? We need a new terrible thing to read. So he tracked down Yahtzee in Equestria. And I don't think he even got through the first chapter before they completely forgot about it. Because it is just that bad. And it was actually taken down, but someone found it and archived it. But someone found an archive of it because it was just too atrocious to let fade away. Pavel, zero punctuation is a, yeah, Mega has pretty much described it in the best way possible. He used to be known for giving everything a scathing, bad review. He's mellowed out a little as time has gone on. Oh, he doesn't edit. He's shown that he actually talks that fast. He actually slows himself down to make sure that people can understand what he's saying. He's always been an old jaded fuck. I actually share a birthday with him. May 24th. It's also shared with Bob Dylan. And I think someone else, but I can't remember who. I think Shady Sands.
Right.
It's a two-headed bear. Come on, I'm betting not everyone in the NCR.
I'm sure some don't, but the loyal... Still, you've got a fire.
Yeah, Mega. There was one point on Let's Drown Out where he decided he was going to prove it. So in the middle of an episode, they pulled up a random Wikipedia article, and he read through it without any stutters or any slips of the tongue, and it had like foreign language names in it, and he just powered through it. He powered through like the first paragraph of it faster than he could normally do a zero punctuation. And he talked about how, you know, everyone assumes he edits things, but he doesn't. I'm just gonna look this up because my character, as a general thing, should know his NCR history. I do not think it unfair to look this up. That sounds like an interesting show.
Don't care for this place too much.
I thought I already did go down that alley to help that person. Although that may have been in the lost save. Okay, so it's Tandy, Shady Sands, Two-Headed Bear. When do I usually stream? Around 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hello. Don't think I've seen your face before.
Yes. Oh. That's not a lie. Yeah.
Ordinarily, I'd take your word, but I've come up with a fairly simple way to...
Sure.
This'll just take a few moments.
Was Tandy, Shady Sands, Two-Headed Bear.
Very good. I'm happy to say you've proven you're definitely an NCR citizen, which means you qualify for our program. Just head to the northwest part of town by the old train station. We start handing out supplies at 6 every night.
Okay.
There'll be some guards by the door, but just remember that the password is HOPE, and they'll let you by right quick.
Right, quick come. Okay, okay. See you later, Robo. I will keep that in mind. Yeah, I already went down here and helped the guy. And by helped, I mean shot him in the face several times. Because he's a lying son of a bitch. Welcome back, Mega. Rob, are you about to start quoting Liberty Prime? Because democracy is not an option. That giant robot was the best thing about Fallout 3. Alright, I was also supposed to talk to, what's her name? Julie Farkas.
Hello.
I think. She was over here, maybe? Not sure. Probably here-ish.
Are you here to drop off medical supplies? Leave them with the rest in the middle of the courtyard.
You need medical supplies?
Rates of injury and illness in Freeside are very high. Supplies don't last long.
What do you need?
Med-X, Radaway, and Fixer are Freeside essentials. I can't pay you for any supplies you bring in, but I could discount the charge for our services.
Pavel, we're quoting a silly giant robot that that spouts ridiculous lines from Fallout 3. And of course, it was created by insane, like, McCarthy-era level anti-communist propaganda, sort of people. And so it just keeps spouting these one-liners about the evils of communism and how amazing democracy is. But they are intentionally ridiculous and awful. And it's great. And it's just this monotone robot voice going, or it's just this monotone robot voice spouting these one-liners. And it's great. MacArthur was kind of dumb. He was, as I remember it, he was not exactly a popular as a general during Korea, I want to say. And yeah. Let's see. Seems like you need a steady supply, not just whatever I can grab you.
So far, the Crimson Caravan won't cut us a deal. If you can convince them or some other merchant to work with us, I'll discount supplies to you.
Yeah, I think MacArthur was the one who actually wanted to engage in an open nuclear war. And that made most of the other generals look at him and go, no, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, that was his plan. Like, his plan, like, oh, we want to win Korea, let's launch nukes at China. That won't make our heavily nuclear-armed enemies, the Soviet Union, really mad at us. He had no sense of tactics at all. Or, well, he had no sense of tactics when it came to, political considerations, I think is the word I'm trying to look for. Yeah. Tact. That's one way of putting it. Let's see, which merchants might be willing to
You
make a
might
deal.
ask around at Mick and Ralph's, or go see the Garretts, though I suspect they're too busy poisoning Freeside to help it out.
Get yourself a deal.
Just come see me when you've got some supplies to turn in.
Alright.
What do you want to talk about?
Do you know anything about NCR
Only a
soldiers?
little. A friend of mine, Major Elizabeth Kieran, has been handing out supplies to the poor a little west of here. What about it?
I have not read the It Fell from the Stars campaign setting for Pathfinder. It certainly sounds interesting, though. I know they made quite a few of the weird monsters just aliens that have fallen from space, which I always found a little weird. Yeah. MacArthur was insane. And Truman was also a little nutty. Let's see. Yeah, King thinks those troops are
I know
attacking
something's got
locals.
them riled up, but I've been too busy with other matters to really look into it. If you're looking into the matter, talk to Elizabeth. She's in charge of the operations here in Freeside, though she won't open up to you right away. If Elizabeth holds out on you, tell her that I sent you. She should be a little more forthcoming if you mention my name. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Okay, here's how I can sell you on Pathfinder. Pathfinder is like if you kept 3rd edition or 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons rules and then kept working on those instead of making a complete different edition. So there's parts of it that are a little clunky or hard to sift through, like the feat system is... Feats are cool. I think it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass to sort through them. But you know, it has very well handled, you know, various skills. What do you mean, finally I'm live? I've been live for a while. Creeper over on Twitch. Or is Twitch on that bad a delay? Let's see. Let's see. Alright. Yeah. I personally like Pathfinder. Yeah, Pathfinder really is, it's like D&D, but they kept working on some of the flaws. Or it's like 3.5, but they kept working on flaws. And actually fixing things. And, you know, I've tried, as far as, you know, standard D20 RPG systems go, I've played Pathfinder and I've played 5e. And of the two, I prefer Pathfinder. I know that 5e really did fix a lot of the issues with 4e. Because 4e was a horrible mess and we don't talk about 4e. But also... Oh, Creeper, that's what I put up when, that's what I put up when I'm about to start a stream. And I'm just sort of either finishing something up or letting people filter in or whatever. Yeah, 4e is fucking awful. Yeah. That is, yeah. Rule number 1, don't spam chat. Rule number 2, don't talk about 4e.
Hungry? Thirsty? Horny? The Atomic Wrangler.
Wait, I remember this part. Oh, the door is in an awful fucking location and is so easy to just miss. Right. No, it's back through here. Creeper, we are talking about Dungeons and Dragons editions. Fourth edition, otherwise known as 4E, is generally considered to be the worst thing to ever come out of the D&D design labs, or whatever you would call them. Yeah, and the best thing about Pathfinder is that it has properly organized free-to-access rulebooks. Instead of, like, if you've ever tried to access the free-to-read stuff that Wizards of the Coast put out for 5e, it's a mess. And it is designed to make you buy their rulebooks because it's awful. And it doesn't actually give you most of the information that you need. Which, you know, is one of the reasons that I'm not a big fan of 5th edition. Okay, so what's wrong with 4th-E? Where to begin? First off, they did a lot of stuff with classes that didn't really work, and made a lot of things, you know, just have no more place in the game. And, you know, from what I've heard, 4th-E actually has some reasonably decent ideas when it comes to combat. They just had no good ideas when it came to anything else. But I believe it was 4th-E that introduced the idea of, like, minion monsters, which were basically just there to fill space and make a fight more interesting, instead of just having, you know, a room with a boss where, you know, they would die in one hit, but they were just they were kind of there, and they were there to add sort of some more stuff to
head on through.
More stuff to the fight.
Here you go. I hope this helps.
Yeah, we really should stop talking about 4th-E at this point. There's not really much else to say. You.
Welcome. There's food and water here for any citizen of the NCR. Please, have some.
Yeah, you with the NCR military?
Yes. I'm a major in the Supply Corps, which is where this food and water comes from.
Tolimi, you missed us talking about how bad 4th edition is. And going over... you know, various D20 systems. Yes, Creeper, I know I just broke my own rule. But, you know. Rob, 4th-E is a wonderful learning experience on what not to do if you are ever designing an RPG system. I mean, I'm not sure how you'd block me at this point, man. But yeah, 5e, going to a decent system. I feel that 5e is a good starting place. It's a good way. It is very stripped down, and I'm not a fan of that. But it is... I'm not putting something in chat just so you can block me. Block me from my own chat. Yeah, 5e is really stripped down. But as a result, I feel that it would be or I feel that it is a solid place to start new, or to, you know, start out a new player. Because I started with Pathfinder when it came to, you know... Actually, I started with Pathfinder and Shadowrun. Thankfully, I didn't have to do the character creation in Shadowrun, and I had a large group of people who knew what they were doing to point me in the right direction. But those are very clunky systems. And as much as I love both of them, they are not the greatest place to start out someone who you don't want to intimidate the fuck out of as far as RPG systems go. Like, Pathfinder is amazing. I love Pathfinder more than anything. But it's not a great starting place for people who don't know what they're doing in any respect. Unless you know, have a large group of people who can go over and go, hey, you might want to do this, or this is what you should try. So, you know, if you're entering into an existing group, Pathfinder's wonderful. If you're starting your own group with a bunch of people who've never played games before, 5e is the way to go. Okay, so, Creeper, you're about to tell me a Fallout joke. This is going to be good. Or at least I hope this is going to be good. Right, serve food to locals at all?
No, I'm afraid we don't. Don't you have a friend you wanted to bring in?
Yeah, I was afraid he wouldn't get served.
You were right. But here, take another helping for your friend. It'll be our secret.
Thanks.
Yes? Was there something?
Thanks for the food.
You're quite welcome. If you meet anyone who needs food or water in the area, please tell them about this place.
I do not have Project Nevada in at the moment. It's... I just didn't have the time to, you know... get it all set up and working. I was having enough trouble with, when I was initially setting up my mod stuff, I was having enough trouble with Fallout character overhaul and things like that. Wait, I need to resize the chats again because now I can't see all of what's happening in Twitch chat. Let's see. Courier. So I'm in power armor, I have a Tesla cannon, killed Ulysses, Legate Lanius, became a paladin, king, cyborg, got over 900 cane caps. And you still want to fight me? With a bat. That is a really good point. But it's not as bad as Skyrim. It's like, I'm the Dragonborn. I've killed Alduin. I've toppled a rebellion and or
Come to Mick and Ralph's for all your shopping needs.
Tore down the Empire.
Come to Mick and Ralph.
I'm clad in full Daedric armor, and am being followed by another person in full Daedric armor. I have the favor of every single Daedric god. And you're shooting me with iron arrows. Or, alternatively, and you're still treating me like I just came here. Oh, mentioned Julie Farkas. I need to go back then. The weirdest part about that game, Rob, is that it's actually a vaguely interesting game. It's like, do you get to the Cloud District often? No, it's fucking below me. I spend all of my time in the Jarl's fucking palace. I usually spend my time hanging out with Jarl Elisif and General Tully and General fucking Tullius. You can shut up now.
Was there something?
Wait. Why don't you serve the locals?
That's not really a pleasant.
Julie Farkas told me to ask. She
You know
said it was
Julie?
important.
Not everyone in the NCR sees eye to eye with the followers, but they're okay in my book, mostly because of her. If you really want to know, we sent an envoy to the king, offering to coordinate the relief effort.
But on the other hand, there's also the whole... There's also... On the other hand, there's also the, There's also the, There's also the Oblivion method, which is have people start wandering around in... Or have just the random bandits start wandering around in glass armor, and that is just jarring to look at. Okay, color of your shirt, object to your right. So my Fallout faction would be the black guitars. Or the black microphones. Actually, there's a lot of shit to my right. I'm in the leftmost corner of my room. The black queen-sized beds. The black ballistic vests. The black ammo boxes. Oh, yeah, Skyrim really is a cockroach. I don't know how that game just keeps coming out. And it really does feel like, it's like, oh, Skyrim, what? That came out, what, like a couple of years ago? It came out more than half a decade ago. Okay. Just like a couple of months ago, it felt really weird to look around and to look at my calendar and realize that Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl had just turned 10. And I was like, how is this game 10 years old? Talimi, yes. The black void with some semblance of shape to objects in my room. Yes. Alright, and the king refused.
In a manner of speaking, our envoy was brutally beaten and only barely survived. My superiors ordered the relief mission scrapped. I managed to get clearance to carry out the mission anyway, but with greatly reduced support. Now there's not enough supplies to go around, even if I wanted to serve the rest of Freeside, which I don't. That's all in the past now.
The Civil War in Skyrim was really disappointing.
Say hi to Julie for me.
Actually, all of Skyrim was really disappointing.
Hello.
A lot of the like major a lot of the major stuff in Skyrim was very much like, hey, Obsidian did this in New Vegas, right? Yeah. People really like New Vegas, right? Yeah. Let's include this without including the things that made people enjoy it. Sounds like a plan. So it's like Civil War, but the factions aren't interesting. Yeah. I remember having a lot of fun with Skyrim for a little while, and then just kind of realizing that I had no investment in anything that was going on. What's my no shame game? I'm not actually sure. I used to have a whole bunch of them, but that was when I was like 13 and had just gotten into the internet. So, or had just gotten a laptop and didn't have to worry about my parents finding what I'd downloaded anymore. So, you know.
Hey there. I heard that NCR soldier lady told you some wild... That's bullshit, and it's nothing to bother the king with. So do everyone...
I still think you should know about it.
That's a shame. What?
Okay then, Pacer.
Things are tense on the strip right now.
Yeah, Skyrim really did do followers very well. Some of the followers were very, very interesting. I do think New Vegas followers were a lot more fun, but Skyrim followers were probably a little better balanced.
You find out something about them soldier boys yet?
Oh, that kind of no shame game. Like a game with faults, but I love it anyway. A big one is Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, or just the Stalker or just the Stalker series in general. They're really, really glitchy and a little clunky, but my god, are they some of the best. Oh, Frontlines! That was one of the first... That was one of the, like, first PC games I ever played. I found a copy of it on disc in an Ollie's Odd Lot, which might be a super regional thing. But it's like a weird little shop with all kinds of, like, stuff that you just don't really expect to find, and some of it is awesome and some of it is terrible. And I found a copy of Frontlines Fuels of War. And that game was really fun. It was really weirdly fun. Yeah, Stalker is a really good game. Or I suppose technically, because of Roadside Picnic and the pronunciation stuff, I suppose technically it's supposed to be pronounced Stalker. But I don't know. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with those games. They were really good. And probably one of the first games that I got super into. Yeah, NCR is distributing supplies in a building down by the old train station.
Handing out supplies? Like food and stuff? That ain't nothing to get...
They're only handing out to NCR citizens.
Ah, that would explain the goons. They're here to keep people like my friends away from the food.
They said someone was sent to discuss the issue with you.
Wait a minute. They said what?
They said the man was severely beaten and barely survived.
Huh. That would explain why they're all riled at us. Seems like we have a big misunderstanding. What the hell?
King, we've got problems.
Lay it on me. What's going on?
There's a shootout going on.
Skyrim is one, a game that I think is good, but I won't understand the hype for
I need
Skyrim.
you to head out there and try to defuse the situation. Tell them I'm willing to cooperate.
I'm pronouncing the A. It's... I guess it's sort of the Eastern Pennsylvanian accent. Stalker.
Corny, the Atomic Wrangler has you covered.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who really aren't big on Half-Life. And I can kind of understand that, actually. I mean, I think Half-Life is a very fun game. But a big part of Half-Life, and what I feel is a big part of why they haven't released Episode 3, is that Half-Life was beaten... Half-Life was built upon... it was built upon being revolutionary in some way. And...
weapon and we will fire.
Alright. But yeah, it was built upon being very, very revolutionary. So at the time of its release, it was one of the most amazing things ever. I mean, it was revolutionary in sort of a story way, and in a lot of ways. Like, before Half-Life, most games were kind of constructed in that whole, here's a level, do the level, here's a wall of text, here's another level sort of thing, like Doom. Hey, Creeper. I know you're there. It's... yeah. But yeah, and then Half-Life 2 was the first game to have a proper physics engine. So they were both super revolutionary in several ways. Kings want to help with the relief effort.
Like he helped the envoy we sent?
That wasn't him. He didn't even know the envoy was sent.
Then he should watch his back. We know for a fact that the envoy... Still, if the king's willing to deal with us, perhaps we can work something out.
Okay. Turn to the king. Doom reboot. Oh wait, do you mean Doom 2016? Yes, I loved it. It was really fun. I haven't gotten around to beating it yet, but I've done, you know, a fair amount of it. I missed some stuff in chat. Ack. Doom 3 is fun, Creeper. I actually really liked the original Doom. There's some really fascinating stuff about, you know, how they made it. Yeah, Persona 3 and 4 are really weird. I really like 4. I think it's just very goofy. I watched the animation, and I mean, I don't think it was the best thing ever, but I think it was goofy, and I think it was just kind of fun to watch. Whereas I felt like Persona 3 was just... it was very odd how... I mean, on the one hand, it was kind of how they wrote the whole thing, and it was kind of how they had everything set up. But the whole thing really was just something of a... let's make everything as depressing as we can, woo, sort of thing. Let's give all of the characters super tragic backstories. I've heard the fan theories about Fallout 4 and Skyrim taking place in the same universe. I don't really think they hold
Maybe it's
much.
Time for a little more talking and a little less fighting. You've helped us plenty, so I'll tell you what.
You know.
Just this once, name whatever you want, and if I can make it happen, it's done.
Oh wow.
Don't rush it though. Toss it around in your head a little. You only get one favor from the king.
Yeah, I will hold on to that favor. Yeah, I can certainly see that, Rob.
Hungry? Thirsty? Horny? The Atomic Wrangler had
Yeah. It didn't know what tone it did not know what tone it was going for sometimes.
Make a brief stop at the Atomic
That's an interesting description of Aegis, and I'm also not going to argue with it. Naruto was pretty cool.
We've got stuff we're not even allowed to sell, people. Only at Mick and Ralph's.
I have not played any of the Persona games, and I suppose that. Yeah. That's about all I can really say there. There's another game that I remember playing a while back. Creeper, you have problems with Caravan, you say? Hey guys. Sounds like it's about time I pay Ringo a visit. If my game stops acting like it's crashed.
Things are tense on the
Talimi has the right idea.
Mr. House's families was killed. Time to lay low.
I will explain it to you the moment I begin taking caps from everyone, Creeper. Let's hope that Ringo has had some time to restock his wallet.
Hey there. You looking to...
You aren't Ringo. You just look like Ringo, or looked like him for some reason.
Hey there, friend.
If only the game let me take people for their shoes. Strip Caravan. No, that would be a terrible idea. I would rather not see the majority of the characters in this game naked. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just go with the random deck. Okay, so Creeper. The goal of Caravan is to win 2 out of 3 of these caravans. The way you win a caravan is by having between 21 and 26 as the total of your cards in that row. Now, if 2 people are both between 21 and 26, whoever is higher is the winner of that row. Shit. And your goal... Yeah, your goal is to win 2 out of 3 of these and try and screw them over. Jax, remove a card that is... Oh, fuck you, Ringo.
Hey there, friend.
You're making me look bad here. Actually, I'm gonna raise you a little. Just a good 300 caps. I was not paying attention to what was going on. Anyway, Ringo is actually really bad at Caravan, which is why he's the first person you play against in Caravan, and gives you the Caravan deck in Goodsprings. I'm just having shit luck today. So currently, given the way Caravan works, I am the one who's winning. Yep. Oh, I guess I bet part of that in Legion Denarius's.
Hey there, friend.
I have not played Caravan in a little while. No, I don't want to raise. I just want to take the few remaining caps that he has. But I have taken the caps of the majority of people who are willing to play Caravan against the player character in this game. Or probably not the majority, but all of the ones that I could find. Because I am a cruel and awful person. Oh, this is by no means the buggiest game that anyone has ever made. I have seen far buggier games. If you want a real buggy mess, I highly recommend... Let's see. What's a good one? If you want to play a real buggy mess, try and play Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth. It is a truly horrifically buggy game. It's really good, but it is made of game-breaking bugs, and I do not say that lightly. Every inch of that game is a bug in some way. I don't think I ever have experienced a marathon boss. I know of marathon bosses, but I have never experienced one. Because I don't play a whole lot of JRPGs, and that's mostly where they appear. I think the worst boss fight I ever encountered was probably, the worst boss fight that I ever encountered. Oh, the green room in the house basement? I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've played. And I'm not entirely sure if you aren't just bugged and stuck. Because that's kind of how the game, that's kind of it. See you later, Mega. Hope to see you again. I'm planning on doing another of these tomorrow morning, I guess. Well, tomorrow morning for me, it might be tomorrow night for you. 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's almost 5, so I may cut things. Or bring things to a close. Yeah, let's kill whoever it is who thinks it's a good idea to mess with me. Oh, it's just a Brahmin.
Guess who won the lottery? Let's start this dance.
MG3. You mean Metal Gear Solid 3? The one where you're fighting the Shagohod and it keeps... Oh, no, you mean the end from... Okay. Right, the end. Ah, that was a fun boss fight. I killed him with stamina. But I didn't realize you had to sneak up on him and hold him up to get his camo. I just thought you had to kill him with stamina like the other boss fights to get his camo. So I wound up sniping him with... What was it? The Mark 11 pistol. Oof. Which mod is what? Creeper. But yeah, Rob, I was fucking miserable when I finally beat that boss fight and found out that after all that work, I still didn't get his camo. Which one? Like, you're asking me which mod, but I have a lot of modded things in, but I'm still playing the vanilla, well, not vanilla. I'm still playing, you know, the regular game. Hello, Dylan. Welcome to the Twitch chat. Currently trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Why was I jumping? Okay, what is your guilty pleasure game, Rob? Oh, why are the graphics like this? I have NMC's texture pack in, and realistic wasteland lighting. And for interiors, interior lighting overhaul. And for guns, weaponry texture project, and also weapons of the new millennia. Guilty Gear, that's an interesting guess. I have a lot of graphical mods in, is what I mean to say. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to sleep soon. I am currently questless in New Vegas. I've heard of that game, Rob. But at the time that I had heard of it, I also had no idea where to go about finding it. I may go back and figure that out now. Mostly because, you know,
Welcome, sir or madam.
Huh, I think I've still got like a quarter of a can of Monster left. I think I'll just buy some stuff off the machine and have that be it. But what to buy and what not to buy? I was hoping those would be small energy cells, but they weren't. Why am I carrying? Oh, I think I was going to try and break it down. I don't really use those. That. And I'll probably stick that away in the Novak Hotel at some point. I could stand to get rid of those. And Rad-X. I don't need this many stealth boys. Maybe sell them 2. Okay. Does he? Oh, he does accept Legion Denarii. Denarii? Denariuses? Oh, thanks for the host, Dylan. It's kind of a shame that I'm not going to be up for much longer. What else am I going to get rid of? High explosive, anti... What does the B stand for? High explosive anti-something. I know heat is high explosive anti-tank. What is HEEB? How much does my Tokarev do? 17 damage compared to this doing... It's not bad damage for a handgun that is in terrible repair. I think I will buy some Tokarev. And do PPSH 41, maybe. I don't really use SMGs much though. Pancor Jackhammer looks too stupid. I've never understood the popularity of the Jackhammer. I have not in fact found a quest to Limi. I am just going through various items. I think that I might start on one of the DLCs next stream, but I'm gonna do that at the start of the stream rather than the... Oops, there, AUG A1. Not a fan of the look of the AUG. Nice as the AUG is. VSS Ventores. I don't find enough 939 to make it worth it. Maybe I will go find my good old Legion buddies. Give them a lead hello. I wound up finding a G36 in my last game by accident. That was fun. What time is it Central? Well, let's see. Tomorrow, which would be the 31st. Actually... Yeah, my next stream is tomorrow. That is 12:31 at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard, and Central is 1 hour behind Eastern, I want to say. So around 1 a.m. for you. Time zones are horrible, and I wish we would just stick to a standard time. Because, quite honestly, it'd just be really nice to be able to go this time and have everyone automatically know exactly what I mean. But if you're unsure, I have a Discord server and a Twitter where I announce all of my streams as they are going live. So you'll be able to get a message from those telling you when I'm about to hop in. Your unironic favorite series is Daily Life of the Monster Girl. Huh. Wait, I know that one. Yeah, that was actually really neat. It was actually really well written. Yes. Basically, my only, like, my biggest thing, or, like, my only, like, real sort of... My only real sort of want of the world is that we could all just communicate easily. Like, I'm all for us having a single language. I don't really care which language. I'm all for having a singular time and a singular measurement system. And I don't care what any of those things are. Just so long as I can understand people. Dylan, I will post a link to my Twitter in the Twitch chat, because I think I forgot to actually put it in any kind of description. There you go. If it'll let me paste. That's not the thing that I just copied. There you go. Mythology High Five achieved, Rob. But yeah, like, I just wish that we could all communicate. I don't really care how that works, or like how. Just so long as everyone were able to understand what everyone else meant. Good night, Creeper. I feel like that would solve a whole lot of problems, and it would also just generally make life much easier for me as someone who does lots of communication stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to bed. Yes, Dylan, I am multi-streaming. I stream on both YouTube and Twitch. The YouTube chat tends to be a little more active than the Twitch chat. Right, yeah, I'm just, you know, finishing up, taking a look at various, taking a look at all the various guns that I want. I kind of want to have one of every gun, because I'm an insane gun nut, basically. I think I'll buy, I will allow myself one purchased weapon of the night. It's actually kind of nice. Kind of a nice touch, making that a little heavier. Yeah. I am always very surprised by how generally nice my chat is. And how generally manageable everything is. Fuck it, AK-74. And how much ammo does he have for it? Here's the 7... Or no, I'm looking for 545 by 39, not 7.62. He has no 545 ammo. Why are you selling a gun with no ammo? You know what, I'll buy it anyway. I just want to see how it looks, though. Damn, this thing looks
Better be
nice.
rock salt in that, or you're asking for an ass kicking.
That's looking real nice. It's a little hard to see the sight, but then again, PAK is rather infamous for that. What mods does it have? Ooh, I can get a Cobra sight and a silencer.
Welcome, sir. Or
does the robot sell the Cobra? Because the Cobra happens to be one of my favorite sights. That'll be under K then. That is the silliest mod. Yeah. Red dot for the M4. KS-23. Damn it, he doesn't have a Cobra sight. What a shame. Unless it's written as the... Unless it's listed as the AK. AS-VOD extended mag. Auto rifle. Nope. Let's see. Hoplites or Legionary? Probably Legionaries. They were a little better equipped and had, and you know, there was something kind of awesome about a turtle formation. Cases, lead, powder small powder rifle, and primer small rifle. Okay. I cannot wait to find ammo for this thing. But yeah, yeah, at this point, I really should just sign out. I've just lingered for way too long deciding over a gun to buy, and then finding out that the gun doesn't even have ammo that I can take. But damn if that doesn't look cool. Well, just had to make sure the safety wasn't on. I know a lot of people who make weapon models forget to put the safety in the proper position. Yep, see you guys tomorrow. I will make the announcement when I'm ready to kick things off. And also, I have an event set up, though I'm not sure if everyone has seen it. I believe you will still have moderator privileges, Rob. But yeah, tomorrow I believe I have an event set up for New Year's Finest. Because tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Which will be I may even set up a face cam for it since it's part of the wonder of the tradition of New Year's Finest. Myself and a group of friends will all get together, put on our best clothes, and play Cards Against Humanity, and other various board games via Tabletop Sim. I'll see everyone then. Well, I'll see everyone next stream, and then I will see everyone then. Have a nice night, everyone.